Hey guys, welcome back to the garage. Look what has made its way back onto the bench. Another classic Johan kit. Now this is not new to the stash per se. If you guys that follow my channel may remember that last summer I did a show here in town, and this was part of my swap meet stash that I ended up coming home with. I had looked it over a couple times. I looked at it and I went looking around for some other stuff or at some other stuff, and come back around. I just kept coming back to it. I think the guy had $35 or $40 on it, and in this shape, look, this thing is about 75% done, just the way it was when I seen it in the box. So I'm like, you know what, I just got to go ahead and grab that, and I did have that on a video. And I said I think I said in the video at some point I would like to just go ahead and finish it up. Well, I think I am going to go ahead and do that. I was digging for some parts for the gasser project and the ramp truck project, and this thing popped back in front of me again. I'm like, you know what? I think it's just time to get that thing out and finish it up. It's a nice little filler between projects, or it's like taking a little break from one project. I said, you know what, let's just get it finished up. So what I'm going to do in the video, we're going to take a look at it real quick, see what's left to do on it, and then I'm probably just going to go ahead and get everything done. I don't think I'm going to take the time to bore you with watching me paint stuff and this, that, and the other, although this does not need much stuff painted on it, as it's pretty much got all that work done. Now I may go ahead and strip and redo the engine, and I do think there one part's missing, unless it's in the box down in there, and I just haven't seen it yet. Is a carburetor. The air cleaner's in the box, but there's no carburetor, so I may have to scrape one of those up, which should not be hard to do. But I may go in there and I may just strip this and maybe go ahead and paint that the appropriate color engine for that year, and then just paint up the transmission and things of that nature. So, and then see where we're at with that. But I may go ahead and do that, but let's take a look at this real quick, and you see how this, now look at this, guys. Now I did hit this with some Novus 2 already, give it a little polish, and I wanted to restore it as far as stripping the paint and starting all over, but man, guys, look at that. I mean, it's just a nice shelf setter. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like a car that you would see that had been in storage for a long time in a nice environment, because you got a little bit discoloration on the paint, and I don't know if that's going to show up on camera, but I can see it right about in here. A little bit discoloration there, and there's a spot over here. But you know, we always build stories. Right here's the little spot. We always build stories around our cars, guys, and that's the story I'm going with this one. I've been sitting in a garage for years and years, and it had maybe had some paint repair there one time, and it had some little bit of issue down there on the bottom of the door, and that's just the way it stayed all these years, and so that's the story I'm going with. So we're going to finish this up. Now, the only thing is, it does have these mold lines here, parting lines. You know, it's just the way it is, guys. Okay, here's what I'm trying to say. I'll spit it out and say it. It's too nice to redo, put it that way. That interior, they did an interesting, and I did look at some pictures online, and that would have been, maybe not that exact pattern, but they would have different patterns of interior like that back in the day. So that's what we're going with. So what all do we have to do on this thing? Well, let's take a look here real quick. Just pull this chassis out. So you see all this has pretty much been done. Now, they did not put the rearview mirror in it, but they've already got the retainer rings on the interior. And I really hate to start dinking with those because you break them and then you can't get the original. Unless they're in there really lightly, we might be able to pull them out. If that's the case, I can put the rearview mirror in it. But if not, you know what? I'm just not going to mess with it. And then this grill is just kind of sitting in there, although it's friction fit. So I don't even think I have to glue it. I need to put the headlights back in. The chassis, I'll probably go ahead and detail up the chassis, get the tail shaft of the transmission here, and we'll paint the exhaust and all that and everything, but everything else is pretty much done there. I'll go ahead and take these back out, and I'll paint the wheel backs. I'll go ahead and throw a little bit of paint on the axle so you don't see that white right there. And then it needs the suspension blocks put in up front. Needs the torsion bars put in, and most of that stuff, guys, the thing, it's pretty much all here, like I said, except the carburetor. Even has the instructions. Again, I went over all that before at one point in time, but this comes with the chassis pins, so we'll just go ahead and push those pins up in there, maybe paint the heads of those. Here's the rear bumper. Looks pretty good. Then you got your wheels, tires. Here's one of the torsion bars right there. And then everything else, a lot of flash on that, but I think everything's off of that one. And then we got our axle blocks here. Right there we'll go through for the plastic axles. Got them big thick plastic axles. And here's the headlights. So we'll get them glued in, and they're just all chrome, so we'll leave them that way. Could maybe put just a little Mod Podge over that, maybe. Give it that look of glass, potentially. And then they does have seat belts here. Don't know that I'll use them. I didn't always use them back in the day. And then pretty much everything else. The battery's down in there. Like I said, if I dig hard enough, maybe I can find the carburetor in there. But if not, I probably got one in the parts box somewhere that'll work just fine. So, guys, that's the plan for this video. So what I'm going to do, like I said, when we come back, we're probably going to have a finished product because it just might be a little... Oh, the only other thing I might have to do is these are a little high right here. You see that right here? That's just a little bit high, and I think it's holding the chassis down, because when you put this together, real quick, I'll show you what it's doing ahead of time. Take that wheel wants to keep falling off there. It wants to set, see right here, unless this is just the nature of the beast, it wants to set up so you see the side of the chassis plate right there. So I'm gonna try to smooth those out a little bit, level those out. It looks like it might be part of what's holding that up. So we'll tackle that, and we'll go from there. And when we get back, guys, this thing should be ready to go. I mean, there's glass. It doesn't need anything done with that. I'm going to try to set this back in here. So anyway, so that's where we're at right now, guys. That's what I wanted to come at you with. So again, I'll see about maybe redoing this engine, get it maybe more in the correct color, and then paint up the transmission too. And like I said, when we come back, we're probably going to have a finished 1962 Plymouth Fury by Johan. Classic kit, guys. This was a USA Oldie series, probably released in the mid-70s. Nice box art there. I love the old Johan stuff. You know, it just shows all the breakdown of the parts. And just so cool. It'd be neat to have every one of those, I'm telling you, on there. Now, I might be able to get my hands on a Cadillac DeVille convertible here, hopefully sometime in the near future, so I'll keep you up to date on that. But anyway, point of this video is, guys, get this old classic Johan all together and sitting prominently on a place on the shelf. So stick around, guys. We'll be right back. All right, guys, not quite to the finish line yet. Did a couple things to it that took me just a little bit longer than I thought it might. So I wanted to just pop back in here real quick with a quick update on where I'm at here. When I talked about how that chassis plate dropped below the side of the car there, that it probably was no big deal, but that just kind of bothers me. I don't really like them like that, so I did a little bit of extra work on it, and I'll show you what I did. What I had originally pointed out, that actually ended up not being the issue, so I'll show you where we're at and what we had on that. So we'll take this back apart. It's not attached down yet. First of all, I thought it might be back here. I'll get my pointer finger here. I thought it might be back here on this, back here along the window. So very, very, ever so gingerly and carefully, I thinned this out just a little bit right through here to the line I put on there. So I thinned this down, kind of, because it was pretty thick right here, that glass. And then it had some nibs up here, so I cleaned some of these off. Those aren't too bad there now. And then I thought it was this area right here, but really, actually, as I put that on there, if you see where that sits, that really doesn't even touch at all. So that was not the issue. But the issue was right here. Right here, this part of the interior was hitting the wheel well right there. So I just took this from the underside. Actually, I did take this out, guys. I did the center post, as I interrupt myself, the center post did come out with that ring, but it's going to be nothing to put these back on and get that to stay. So we shouldn't have any problem. So I was able to take this out. Really, the only way to do it right. So what I did here, this was a little extra thick right here. So I just thinned this out with the knife very carefully, and then I just took and sanded that down smooth till I got enough clearance. And you can see where it is now. I mean, it's still sitting on there, but you can see how it would have jacked this down like that. So that's why you was able to see this chassis plate on the side. So we got that sitting pretty good now. So I was able to get the glass out. The glass is really, really good shape too. I may just give it a quick polish even before I put it back in. But now I'll be able to do the mirror on the inside, rearview mirror. I did get on the body, I did get the outside mirror. I had to drill a hole, but it had the outside mirror. It's got a post on it right up in there, right here. It's got a post on that, so we drilled a hole. Got that mirror on there looking nice. The grill is in, the headlights are in, looking good. I'm going to go ahead and give it another polish in now that I've been handling it and everything. I'll give it another polish before the actual final. And I did notice here too, guys, here's another one of those paint areas right there. So looking like an old survivor, been sitting in a garage for a long time, and just needs a good cleaning up. So there's that. And I did go ahead and paint this engine. It is not 100% done yet, but guys, this now this, as I'm looking through the back of my phone here, this actually on the camera is looking a lot more blue, but it is actually more like an aqua. So my story on this one, I got to doing some checking, and this would actually represent the 361 big block. Those were turquoise colored, and then the 413 would have been the orange as far as that goes. So we opted with this, and the paint that I used is this Seaside, this Rust-Oleum Seaside. And that really, if you're looking to do an older Chrysler, I actually wish I would have tried this when I did that 67 300, because that would have been actually the perfect color for that, but I used the more of the straight blue. So we'll get this going. I'm going to go ahead and get the transmission painted aluminum color, get that done. We'll paint the exhaust manifolds. There will be no plug wires on this, guys. It's just like it is out of the box. I opted on this one. We're just going to paint that cap like a tan color, and then get that going there, and then we should be in good shape with that. So looking pretty good. And again, just a quick put together, guys. I didn't bother filling a lot of these seams. I sanded them out a little bit, but it is what it is. We're just throwing this thing together, getting it finished up. So hit these taillights. I'll hit the taillights with some red, stoplight red metallic, and then the backup lights is the one to the inside there will be white. And then once we get all this back together, guys, once we're done now, this should be my last barge in here on you before we're done. So when we come back, then we should have a 100% done 62 Plymouth Fury by Johan. All right, guys, stick around. I'll get this stuff back together and buttoned up, and we'll be back with a final. All right, guys, here we are, just like I promised. We have crossed the finish line. This thing is done. Now, you know, sometimes you start, you think of a rebuilder, you get something that someone else has started and worked on. You sometimes never know what you're going to get into. But, guys, this thing was, like I said, you know, in the beginning, such a nice, clean start. It was just worthy of getting finished up. And look at that. Here it is. It is all finished. There's a back view there. Come out pretty nice there. And another side view on this side. Just going a couple, let's go a couple details here that I actually missed in the middle of the video there on that first update. A couple things will show you the underside that I had intended to show earlier and I didn't. Forgot about it. But anyway, here is the bottom side. I detailed up the gas tank, the exhaust pipes there, and I give just some light weathering on that, on the bottom side there. So nothing real major, just a little weathering. I did scuff up the tires a little bit. And then here are those pins held in with the pins. Now, when I did that before, I had that chassis plate up about even with the rocker panels. But go figure, once I got everything together, it does stick down just a little bit. So it's not a deal breaker, nothing I can't live with. You see, maybe if we had attached a little bit of glue up in there, we might have been okay. But it is what it is. Just a fun build, guys. Here's that engine. That completed engine. And I said something about the carburetor, having to find one, but lo and behold, looking at the instructions, there is no carburetor. It just got a post on the bottom of the air cleaner that goes right into the manifold. Basic engine, I said, nope, they don't give you any radiator hoses. So I said, we built it like right out of the box. Did paint up the distributor tan in a tan color there, as a lot of Chrysler caps would have been. And then here's, they give you a little washer bag. And then we got the battery all detailed up there. So it is in and done. And then anything else I did touch up. I didn't bother. I had thought about the chrome foil, but I said, you know what? Just look. I wanted that old school looking build, so I just touched up a little bit with some chrome silver on here like they had already had. Looks good to me. Here's those tail lights up close there. I just used stoplight red metallic because these were all chrome, and then I just used some craft acrylic craft paint for the backup lights right here. And then I didn't bother highlighting the 1962 there. And then up front, I did do the Mod Podge on the headlights. Didn't really get the result I was looking for. I thought those might maybe look more like a little bit more like glass, but it really didn't work out that way. But there it is there. And then down here I did the turn signals, which actually would almost represent like if they were on. And I forgot to do them before I had the bumper on. That's why they're not 100% covered. But it almost would represent like the parking lights were on. But we got the grill, did a little slight black wash in there. Got that to stand out just a little bit. And that's pretty much it, guys. There, got engines all done with the belts. Everything so that's it, guys. And the mirror, I did get the mirror in there, as I did have the interior apart. So we got the mirror inside, and everything is pretty much back together. Now, one thing interesting I found here real fast, and then we'll get you out of here. On these instructions, and then there you can see right there where it doesn't even call out a carburetor. It's just the air cleaner goes right straight into the manifold. So didn't have to go hunting any parts. So this thing had 100% all of its parts. And the other interesting thing I felt, now I've got this in the convertible, as I've said. It's interesting, this is the dash, the drawings for the dash does not match what's in the car. And they've got you calling out, put the mirror here. But it did have a hole in the windshield assembly. And I did some looking online, and most everything that I see, and they've even got it on the box here. They got the mirror on the dash. But everything that I seen online of the real car actually had it, up top. It was not on the dash. So I figured we got that pretty accurate to the real deal. So, but guys, just another fun build. This was relaxing. It was a no pressure build. The paint was already on it. I just polished it up, and like I said, it's got a couple little spots. But what a beautiful shelf setter that'll make now. And also we have saved another Johan from a potential plastic scrap pile. So guys, that's it. We're going to roll on out of here. If you guys can find one of these for a decent price, I know they're getting a little more expensive, but if you find one for a decent price, guys, pick one up and build it. It is absolutely a blast to build this. Everything does go together pretty nice. I was impressed. I didn't have any major issues with what I had to do. I mean, the engine was together. I just repainted it. But everything else going together went together pretty nicely. So that's it for now, guys. Hope you enjoyed that little ride along on finishing up this 62 Plymouth Fury. So if you guys like this video, please give me a like, share, subscribe, and comment. And subscribers, thank you. I appreciate it so much. So until next time, this is Eric from Eric's Model Garage, saying you guys have a great day. God bless you, and happy modeling.